All right. For this particular interview, I'm here with my good friend Josh, who we've seen each other quite a bit over the past year and a half at various NFT events, Miami, New York. I've caught you even before we met, just at various events and parties, seeing your art around, and really just kind of privileged to have the chance to actually sit down and talk with you for some recorded content and let more people know about what you're doing. So we'll kick the interview off by just asking you to introduce yourself and a little bit about what you're generally up to, and then we'll dive into some questions.
Sure. Well, thanks a lot, Ethan. I appreciate that, buddy. So my name is Josh, but I go by Transparent Artist in the art world. So I've been involved in Web3 and NFTs for about 3 years now. Been an artist for my whole life, but started depicting transparent currency and commodity art about 5 years ago as kind of like a protest to the central banks. And more clearly exactly with what's happening right now with inflation. So, I don't think that quantitative easing and fractional reserve lending are the best roadmap for future humans leading forward. So I'm trying to do what I can from an artist perspective to kind of protest that a little bit, bring my message to humanity of truth and transparency. And that's what my art is all about, it's transparent currency and commodity art as a metaphor for truth and transparency, specifically in the financial sector, because every human is kind of directly affected by that unless you live in some indigenous culture, not affected by modern economics.
Yeah, and I love that. I mean, I've been kind of living in this sort of strange space, I feel like, as someone who's creative but also interested in finance and things like this. And I always love running into people, especially I've found so many people in the NFT space who are like me, right? Who kind of are curious and care about finance and money, but also are creative. And sometimes in the past, those things haven't seemed to go together. So I love that about you. Thanks. So here we are, we're in New York City, and we're actually in this really interesting space. We've partnered with a project called Soho Technique, and they're doing a gallery art walk, 5 spaces here in the Soho area, augmented reality art. We're going to do a VIP live podcast recording tomorrow. Really cool stuff. But you're an artist. We're in an art space. NFTs grew out of a currency space. Tell us, why you come to New York. Have you been here for NFT NYC last year, and what you look forward to being here?
Yeah. And I totally agree. This is actually my first time to NFT NYC week. Obviously, was just with you at NFT LA, Miami. I'm speaking at NFT Seattle coming up here soon. Pretty excited about that. But my first time here, and I'm just really excited to be here. One of the main reasons I came was actually because of the Spirit Seeds, right? Oh. So as a fellow artist, thank you for that. And this event, this entire week's going to be really, really cool. I also came up to see what other artists are working on, some future drops, what the future of the NFT space in general looks like, regardless of market cycles. I believe in a lot of things that I put my heart into, I put them in there for multi-decades, not multi-years or months. So I'm not a short-term flipper trader kind of guy. And also came up here to kind of promote some of my own projects that I've been working on and things like that. So just do a little networking, have some fun. I love the food in Manhattan. I love the people. I've been coming here since I was a kid. I just love this city a lot. So try to make it a little vacation, little work thing out of it,
And you're in LA right now, right?
Miami, actually, yeah.
Oh, Miami. So you're an East Coaster, but you're a Midwest guy originally, right? Where are you from again?
Yeah, I was raised in Indiana, Southern Indiana, in Evansville.
Beautiful. As a Michigander, fellow Midwestern boy.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us, what you specifically are working on right now. Anything you're excited about? Something, just on the edge of what's coming out for you. Partnerships, projects, whatever. What's going on?
Sure. Well, so as far as physical art, I'm really excited to announce I'm working on a second piece right now for Steve Aoki. He commissioned me for a second piece already.
Dope.
Yeah, thanks, man. He's one of my favorite musicians, and I love the fact that he's in this space so heavily, and he's so loud-spoken and outspoken about it. It really just gives me a lot of motivation and inspiration to keep moving forward, especially because I look up to him so highly, Also, I'm working on a piece for Post Malone. And I'm working on a piece right now for Dave Matthews Charity. It's funny the Dave Matthews song was just playing, but I'm working on a South African ran with the rhino on it. His charity is all about saving the rhinos. I'm a huge fan of animals in general, you name it. I just love respecting life, and I think it's so delicate and difficult to formulate, and when it's here, you must protect it and cherish it, So I'm really happy to say that I'm a part of that. And then as far as on the digital side of things, I recently painted a painting 30,000 feet above this city 3 weeks ago.
Dope.
In the zero G plane.
Haven't heard of that. What's that?
The zero gravity plane. It's like an astronaut experience where you float weightless. And they asked me to paints a painting. They commissioned me to paint a painting while I was floating. So I had 450 seconds and 0G to do it. And now they want me to digitize the painting into 55 NFTs for their ticket sales. And then I'm also doing a collaboration with a pretty famous marine artist out of South Florida named Steve Diosi, who he designs like Florida license plates and stuff. He's pretty high up there. He's like a Guy Harvey kind of guy. He and I did an original painting called Shark Tank, inspired by the sharks of the TV show Shark Tank, Cuban and O'Leary and those guys. And it actually got to O'Leary, where he commissioned us to do a series of NFTs. He wanted like our shark shooting across a $100 bill to like go eat Mark Cuban. And I said, no, we're not going to start this war, because then you're going to want to have Barbara wants to eat this, Robert, and so, but it's a pretty cool. So we're excited to launch that NFT project coming up soon. I've actually done some NFT animations on the physical pieces I've done for Aoki with Alex 3D, who Alex 3D just launched Method Man's first ever drop on the flow chart, Dapper Labs. So I'm very blessed to be working with people that are smarter than me, more experienced. I'm learning from them, and it's very humbling and very exciting at the same time.
Holy cow, man, that's a lot of stuff. Like I thought you were gonna say, oh, we got this one thing happening. Here's what it is.
I have way too much energy for one thing, man. I'm excited,
Yeah, I gotta take notes. Listeners, take notes. Yeah. So beautiful stuff, and I really like that you mentioned like that long-term thinking. Again, it's so funny. It's such an interesting juxtaposition of things here in the Web3 and NFT space, because it looks like something that's very short-term, very like flash in the pan, a greater fool type of stuff. There's so many people that do have a way longer time frame in the way that they think than the average person. So just with that said, you don't have to predict the long-term future, but just how do you think about the future when you do think, let's say for Web3, 3 to 5 years down the space, but just in general, 10, 20, whatever timescales you're thinking on.
Well, so when it comes to the art, which most people call, and you and I are obviously pretty versed in this space, so we understand that the art itself isn't the NFT. That's the art. The NFT is just a digital certificate of authentication. So I believe NFTs and the technology behind them are by far here to stay. Now, will the artwork that we've been seeing lately, as far as some of the major drops that have been dropping in the blue chip NFTs, will they hold their value forever? I think that they may kind of play like a baseball card kind of collectible game where they go up and down over time. But I think that they have a historical significance in our culture now, and I think that, you try to buy a Bored Ape 50 years from now, it'll probably be worth several tens of millions of dollars each, floor price kind of thing. But then, there may be a decade after that where they're not that expensive, and then they go back up and down. It's just like baseball cards, I'm 40 years old. I've been able to watch some cycles of various things in my life, and I'm a collector myself. My father was a collector of various things. So I've seen the cycles of markets go up and down, but, it's kind of like the person who's not afraid to buy their house at a higher interest rate because they know they're going to own it for, the rest of their life. They don't care if they had to buy it, at the height of the market kind of thing. They're like, listen, who cares if I'm paying an extra 100, 200,000 for this? I'm literally going to own it for the next 40, 50 years. Now, I'm not saying that I wouldn't try to acquire it 30% under market value, but, it's that kind of thinking. So, I do believe the technology is here to stay. I'm super excited to see where the metaverse and all that space goes, as far as like Ready Player One's one of my favorite movies. And I kind of view that as like our future, our artificial future moving forward. But as we were talking about before this interview, I think the most important thing is for humans to please understand that that is just an ancillary part of your life. Don't get trapped into this. Don't, 8 hours on Instagram all day. Don't spend 8, 12, 14, 16 hours a day in the Oasis with your Oculus on. It's important, to go out and, get sunlight, to get exercise, to socialize with real humans. Those things are really, really, really important for the development of your brain and your body and everything. So, I just hope people don't get trapped in that because of like the entertainment factor. Get in there, maybe like find an educational kind of platform, be somehow like absorb some like visually stimulating audiobooks somehow, and learn a bunch of cool things and meet some cool people, but definitely live your life in the real world and, try not to, get stuck in there,
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And again, very interesting themes, right? A good friend of ours, Rish Latlakar of Superworld, where he's creating, an augmented reality overlay on top of the entire globe, right? That's also one of the things that he really cares about, is actually getting out and getting into space. I think augmented reality will offer, beyond the metaverse will offer a lot of opportunities for that. And it's a great theme for us being in this space for Soho Technique and We Dream. Well, it's been really great talking to you. I know you got a lot of events you need to get to and mixing and mingling to do. Before we jet, we want to make sure we get socials, websites, whatever, so people can follow you and keep up with you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. So my website is transparentartist.com. The Instagram is transparentartist. And my Twitter, unfortunately, I don't know why, but Twitter, I ever since I linked it to my OpenSea account, it doesn't work. So it's transparent art 3, but it just doesn't work. I literally can't make tweets. I've emailed them 50 times. If you know anybody at Twitter, please help me out, because I know Twitter is a big social media platform for the NFT space, and I literally can't access my own Twitter. I've tried everything, including emailing them directly like 50 times. So I don't know what's going on.
I heard that's first on Elon's list of things to take care of. Don't worry about it, man.
Thank you, Elon. I appreciate that, brother. Yeah.
Anything else before we run you wanna throw in there, or did you get everything in there?
I just wanted to say how much I like your podcast. Edge of NFTs is super cool, and you guys are awesome. And yeah, I've really enjoyed all the conversations I've had with you guys. So keep it up.
Beautiful, man. Thanks so much. Great to see you.
Yeah, thank you.